Hello there and thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to be doing a do-it-yourself oil change. The car we've selected to do the oil change on today is a 2007 Ford Taurus with a 3.0 liter V6. To get started with this process, we're going to need a few things. Mainly we're going to need new oil. The oil we've decided to use today is a synthetic oil by the Valvoline Company. We checked with the reference book at the local parts store to find out the weight of the oil. We're using 5W20 for this vehicle. Once we got the hood popped, we're going to need to check the oil before we can start draining it. To check the oil, you're going to need to pull the dipstick. Dipsticks have a yellow or an orange head on it, and you'll be able to tell it real quick. You're going to pull it out, wipe it off once. Reinsert the dipstick and pull it out again. You're going to get an accurate reading from this. You're going to check to make sure that the oil is falling somewhere in the range. You're going to have a minimum range, usually a dot at the end, and a maximum range up the dipstick. You want the oil to fall somewhere in this line. On this vehicle, if it's in the range, it means it's full. I'm going to check it a couple more times just to be sure. There it is. It's still in the range. We got full oil. Next, you're going to need to pull the oil cap. It's usually sitting right on top of the engine with a picture of an oil can. Some of the oil caps are also going to tell you the weight of the oil you should be putting in the vehicle. Just twist and pull it off. Set it off to the side. Now we're ready to start lifting the vehicle. Most vehicles you're going to want to lift from the pin trail, which is running right here. This vehicle though also has a frame rail running down the side, which we can lift from. That's where I'm going to be lifting from today. I got my floor jack in place, about to lift it up. Once I have it up in the air on this side, I'm going to place a jack stand further up just to make sure that it stays in place. Then we're going to move the floor jack to the other side and get the other side lifted. Now that we got the car lifted, time to get underneath. As I slide underneath, I'm going to be looking for a few things. First is going to be the oil filter. On this one, you can see up in there, this is the oil filter right here. They got a Motorcraft on this one. It's a little hard to see. That's what we're going to be replacing right here. Right here. Next, you're going to need to find the oil pan. Oil pan's on the bottom of the engine, right here. And this is the plug. This is what we got to pull to get the oil out. So first we're going to need to find the drive. This is a 16 millimeter head on it, so I'm going to get a 16 millimeter socket, pull this sucker off. All right, I got my socket on there and we're ready to start draining. Once it starts, you start pulling it, the oil is going to start draining out. Make sure you got something underneath it. Eventually it's going to get finger loose, so you're going to just want to start pulling it with your finger. And then pull it out. Set the plug in the pan and let it drain. Alright, now it's time to pull the filter. I got it pre-loosened, so just start turning it. Oil's going to start coming out. drop that back into your oil catch to let it drain. Next, you're going to check up there. There's going to be a plate and the mounting screw that the filter goes on. Check to make sure the gasket's off. The gasket's pretty thick and it's rubbery. If it's not on there, it came out with the filter, which is a good thing. I'm not feeling it on here, so we're good to go to put the new filter on. This here is our new oil filter gasket. This is black ring right here. Came off with the old one, came off with the old filter, so we're ready to put this back on. Once you got it threaded on, you want to make sure that it's snug. Finger tight. You don't need any tools to pull it back off again, and it won't leak on you. Alright, time to put the plug back in. I've already checked to make sure all the threads are intact and that the gasket around the base here is still good. We're all set to put it back in. Put it in there, thread it up. Should go in, finger easy. Once it starts getting tight, make sure you got it finger snug. Get ready to use the torque wrench. Torque wrench is going to make sure that it's tight enough. I've got my torque wrench set to 10 inch-pounds. I found this on the web just to make sure that we got everything specs. Once you hear the click, that means it's tight enough and you're all set to go. Clean up your mess. There should be no oil dripping. And now we're ready to fill it up again. Now that we got the plug in and torqued, we got the car dropped, it's time to add the oil in. We checked with the reference book at the local parts store to check how much oil we're supposed to put in. This car takes 4.5 quarts. Each one of these is a quart, so we use 4.5. I got 4 quarts in, putting that last half in. I always go a little bit less than what the book says, just want to make sure that we're not overfilling it. So I'm going to start it, and we're going to check for leaks. Alright, here we go. You're going to need to get underneath the vehicle. Check to make sure where your plug is and where your filter is, there's no leaks. Alright, there's no oil coming down, so we're going to call it all clear. All clear! Alright, so we've started the car, checked for leaks, now it's time to make sure we got enough oil in it. We're going to pull the dipstick again. Wipe it off first. Good check again. Looking at it. Again, you're going to want the oil to fall in between the minimum and the maximum. On a Ford vehicle, when we're in the hash marks, it's considered full. Right now we're at the lower half of the hash. I'm going to add just a little bit more just to make sure we got enough for the haul. Bandolero. Aunque digan que soy un bandolero donde voy, le doy gracias a Dios por hoy estar donde estoy. Y voy a seguir con mi tumbao y con mis ojos colorados, con mi gato activado. Ustedes no me lo han dado. Oye, a mí me importa poco lo que se diga del nigga. William Landrón y yo somos socios de la avenida. Soy bandolero como el Mr. Politiquero, que se robó todo el dinero y lo postularon de nuevo como si nada. Si fuera Caldiodón Oma, nos daban conspiración, la llave bota. Y yo no soy ejemplo, mi respeto al tempo. Su único delito fue tener talento. Que tú quieres que yo escriba o asimilla mentira. De que el DEA me tiene en la mira. Yo estoy claro, mis impuestos pago. Critican si trabajo, critican si soy vago. Y hago en primera y me tratan de segunda. A su nena le encanta como el negro zumba. Yo soy tu cuco, tengo el trabuco, conocido mundialmente como el maluco. Aunque digan que soy